G'day, Ian Castle here, your Aussie vocal coach, and today I'm going to help you determine what your voice type is. Now, whether you are new to this channel or a very long time subscriber, you are probably aware that I create vocal workouts and warm-ups for different voice types. Now, as a singing teacher, I have a duty of care to make sure that you don't hurt your voice. This is why I create exercises in specific ranges based on voice classification, or as it is known in the classical world, vocal fach. Now, for the purpose of simplicity, we're going to explore the 6 major voice types: bass, baritone, tenor, alto, mezzo, and soprano. There are subcategories of each voice type, but those are best determined with a qualified teacher in person and really only applicable in the classical world. Every singer is unique and may not fit the standard range of a voice type, but here are the common ranges as stated in my vocal pedagogy textbooks. The bass range is C2 to G4. The baritone range is F2 to A4. The tenor range is A2 to C5. The alto range is D3 to A5. The mezzo-soprano range is F3 to B flat 5. And finally, the soprano range is G3 up to C6. These vocal ranges are based on connected singing, so falsetto has not been included in this classification model. Legitimate head voice is, however, part of the vocal range capability. To accurately determine your voice, we have to explore 3 aspects of range: your lowest and highest notes, your primo and secondo passaggio, and tessitura. Let's focus on your overall range first. This is the C4 on my piano, also known as middle C. There! Every voice type is capable of singing this note. We are going to descend lower to find your lowest quality note. As soon as your voice becomes forced or overly breathy, stop and write the note down.
I decided to start this vocal range test a little higher to allow the female singers to start a little higher in chest voice. On the screen you will see the corresponding notes join in on a comfortable note in your middle range.
The next step is to determine your highest quality note in head voice. If you can't sing in head voice, don't despair. We can still work out your voice type in the next section of the video. Like your lowest note, we are looking for your highest quality note without strain or resorting to falsetto. Don't worry about any voice breaks at this stage.
We will start this range test on a B-flat 2, which is suitable for all male voice types. I will indicate on the screen when it is appropriate for the female singers to join in. Feel free to take a breath whenever you need to.
So now you have your lowest and highest quality notes. By looking at the voice classification chart alone, it can give you a good idea of what your voice type is. If you have a large vocal range, you may find your voice is capable of singing notes in more than one vocal fach. For example, my lowest note on a good day is E2, which puts me in a bass territory. However, my highest head voice note is C5, which on paper suggests that I could be a tenor. This is where it gets a bit tricky, and someone can be misclassified just like I was as an 18-year-old when my first teacher said that I was a bass. To accurately determine your voice type, we need to find your primo and secondo passaggio, your first and second transition points in your voice. The primo passaggio is where your voice transitions from chest to middle or mixed voice. Here's a table to show you where these notes approximately lie in each voice type. A bass voice will transition at about A flat 3 to A3. A baritone will transition at about B flat 3 to B3. And a tenor will transition anywhere from C4 to F4. For the female voice types, it is slightly different. An alto will transition at about a G4, a mezzo will transition at around F4, and a soprano at about E flat 4. This suggests that lower female voice types tend to have larger chest voice ranges. Let's do an exercise to find your primo passaggio. What you are looking for in this exercise is the rising of your larynx. This will indicate the limit of your comfortable speaking range and the start of what's called your call register. Imagine calling out to someone across the street. This vocal quality is more like a melodic yell and is responsible for the dreaded vocal break if you take it too high. Now place your fingers gently on your larynx and try to maintain a speech-like tone quality as you ascend. Let's start with the male voices at a common pitch, a B flat 2. As soon as you feel your larynx rising, stop and write the note down. Let's go. Now it's the ladies' turn. We are starting on an A3. Okay, I hope you have written down the note where your larynx started to rise. For me, it's around about B4, which suggests a higher baritone. The secondo passaggio is a transition from middle or mixed voice into head voice. This will usually occur at about an interval of a fourth above the primo passaggio, but it can fluctuate. To test where this point is, we're going to descend from a note in pure head voice. You will notice a resonance shift or a small break when you hit this point. Make sure you don't try to force or overly control your voice as you descend. Stay relaxed and write down the note where your voice changes or wants to grip. Let's start with the higher ladies and descend through each voice type range.
The starting note for this test is a G5, which will suit higher female singers. Join in when you can sing a comfortable head voice note and stop when you feel or notice the resonance shift.
How did you go? You should now have two notes written down, your primo and secondo passaggio notes. Try saying that 5 times fast. Now here is the table again. I have added the common secondo passaggio notes for each voice type. Find your primo note first, and then find your secondo note. Do they match up with a voice type? Does your overall range match with the same voice type? If so, Congratulations, you have discovered your vocal classification. But what if they don't match up? Now here are my results. My primo suggests high baritone, but my secondo suggests low tenor. So what am I? My overall performing range is E2 to C5, which encompasses all three voice types. This is where you need to consider a third aspect of vocal classification, tessitura, another fancy Italian word which means where the majority of notes sit in a song or your range. Although I can hit tenor notes, my voice can't sustain that range for long periods. Given the fact that I can sing with a resonant tone down there, I classify myself as a baritone when needed. And that brings me to the final point. While it is interesting to discover your fach, don't let it define you as a singer. In the classical and choral world, yes, you need to know your classification. But for the love and enjoyment of singing, sing without boundaries. As long as you are singing in a healthy way, experiment and have fun with your voice. Use the knowledge you've gained from this video to determine, which vocal workouts best suit your voice. Let me know your results in the comments section below. Bye for now.